True diversity, equality, and inclusion in an organisation today goes beyond mere numbers and metrics. They encompass a holistic and genuine commitment to creating an environment where everyone feels valued, respected, and empowered to contribute their unique perspective. So some of these key factors for me include an inclusive culture. And that really means having different perspectives that are actively sought out and embraced, encouraging open dialogue and collaboration among individuals with various viewpoints. I'd say the second factor is equitable treatment to ensure that employees are treated fairly and without bias. There is really zero tolerance for discrimination or harassment. Belonging. And this is where employees feel a strong sense of belonging and psychological safety within the organisation. They are encouraged to be their true or authentic selves without fear of judgment. I'd say the next factor is diverse leadership. And this is where leaders' positions really reflect the diversity of the workforce that are employed. They are visible role models within the business. I would say continuous learning is another factor, and that ensures that regular training is provided to all employees to raise awareness about things like unconscious bias. Last but not least for me is community engagement. And that's where the organisation actively engages with its local community to address broader societal issues related to diversity and inclusion. In terms of how it feels, an organisation that truly embraces diversity, equality, and inclusion would feel welcoming, respectful, and vibrant. Employees would feel a strong sense of belonging, confidence in their contributions, and enthusiasm to collaborate with each other. People from diverse backgrounds would also express their satisfaction with the opportunities for growth and advancement. And there would be a shared sense of pride in being a part of an organisation that values and leverages their individual differences. Making progress with diversity, equity, and inclusion is challenging due to a variety of complex factors. Overcoming these challenges requires a real concerted effort from individuals, leaders, organisations, and society as a whole. Some of these challenges include systemic inequalities. So historical and systemic inequalities contribute to disparities in education, employment, and opportunities. And I think the solution is to address systemic issues through targeted programs such as scholarships for underprivileged students, community partnerships, and initiatives that promote economic empowerment. One of the other inconsistencies is leadership commitment. And so the challenge, without strong leadership commitment, diversity, equality, and inclusion efforts may lose momentum. So I'd say the solution here is to engage leaders as champions of DE&I. Incorporate these metrics into performance evaluations, tie incentives to progress, and ensure that leadership sets an example through all of their actions. One of the other challenges is a lack of awareness and education. And so I think people may lack awareness about experiences and challenges faced by underrepresented groups. And I think one of the things that we can do is implement comprehensive education programs that provide historical context, they dispel myths and foster empathy. I think it's up to us to teach cultural competency and encourage individuals to educate themselves about different perspectives. One of the other challenges I see is the rollback of protections. If new laws weaken or roll back existing anti-discrimination or affirmative action policies, it could create real challenges for marginalised groups. For example, changes in laws that make it harder to address workplace discrimination or reduce legal remedies for discriminatory actions can really hinder our progress in creating diverse and inclusive workplaces. I think one of the other challenges I see is backlash against inclusive education. Where there have been changes in educational policies that prevent the teaching of accurate and inclusive history and social issues, this can really hinder efforts to promote an understanding and a real empathy across different communities. And this can be particularly challenging in a global environment. So I think addressing these challenges requires a multifaceted approach that involves education, awareness, policy changes, leadership commitment, and really open and ongoing dialogue. I think it's important to recognise that progress might be gradual, but every step taken toward a more inclusive society and work environment is a step definitely in the right direction. While there have been increased awareness and commitment to DEI in recent years, it's evident that there is still much more work to be done to really create a truly inclusive workplace and society. We've seen increased awareness and corporate commitment. We've seen public commitments to DE&I. We've seen the allocation of resources, setting targets, and developing initiatives to promote diversity and inclusion. But we've still got some challenges moving forward. It's crucial to maintain momentum and address these challenges. I guess here are some hopes and expectations for the future. That we have a holistic approach, that organisations and communities embrace a holistic approach to DE&I that goes beyond the surface level representation. So incorporating inclusion, equity, and a commitment to dismantling systemic barriers. Really need to have collaborative efforts. And so that means having continued collaboration between governments, businesses, not-for-profit, and individuals, which can really accelerate progress towards DE&I. I think we need to shift from short-term to long-term commitments. Achieving true DE&I requires a long-term commitment. So efforts should be sustained even when they face setbacks or require time to show substantial results. Through education and awareness campaigns, we can really help people understand the importance of DE&I, challenge biases, and promote empathy. The other one is policy changes. So to be a real advocate for policy changes that address these systemic inequalities and provide legal protections for marginalised groups should always remain a priority. We spoke about leadership, and I think that leadership, obviously at all levels, should model inclusive behaviour and actively work to create inclusive cultures within organisations. And then I think from a global perspective, DE&I efforts should have a global perspective, considering the cultural nuances and adapting strategies to different contexts. And last but not least is a real empowerment. So encourage underrepresented individuals to take on leadership roles, pursue education, and advocate for their rights. Overall, the goal is to create workplaces where everyone, regardless of their background, can participate, contribute, and really thrive. While progress may be gradual, a collective effort can lead to a real meaningful change over time.